Hey everyone, welcome back to Bagel TCG. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a last minute tier list update for Pro Tour and Calling London. I know I made a tier list titled, I think, something like Pro Tour London, but I do think through the events in the last weekend or two since I filmed that, there's been some Battle Hardens and maybe a Calling in that time. Also, through a lot of playtesting of my team. I'm on a team of 16 people, so we do a lot of games. I have some updates to what I would think of the tier list, maybe change some things around. And also, this time, I'm going to make actual predictions, I think, of what decks I think will top eight and win the Pro Tour and Calling. I'm not going to like separate them, of course, because they're both classic constructed. So could win or top eight either event, right? Let's get into it. I think the top two decks are still the top two decks. I think it is Aurora and Enigma. I think Enigma is maybe the top deck right now. I had put Aurora before. I think Aurora will still have the highest play rate, but I know some Enigmas that are really practiced on the deck feel like the Aurora matchup is not bad and potentially favored. So for the Enigma, of course. So I think that puts Enigma in the top spot, with Aurora still quite strong behind it. If you remember, I had Zen as the last hero in S tier. I don't think he's S tier anymore. He just is not putting up those kinds of results. Um, I almost don't want to put him in A tier, but I think I'll leave him in A tier for now because he does have that Mystic Hero power besides him. Uh, and we also have Nu, who is the last of the MST heroes, who I will put in A tier as well. Um, yeah, I think those heroes are just good and they're still strong. I don't think Zen is as strong as I had initially put him, but I think the MST heroes are still all pretty good. Now, is anything else in S tier? I'm going to put a Dark Horse hero in S tier. I'm going to put Florian in S tier. This is a little bit of cope because he's who I'm bringing, but also I do think he's very, very well positioned in the meta. I think out of these decks, he's only unfavored into Enigma, and I think in general he's almost only unfavored into Enigma and Kano. I think are probably his only two bad matchups, or at least probably the only two you're gonna regularly play against. Um, so I think he's in a really good spot in the meta. I am going to have a deck tech on the Florian deck I'll be bringing, so I will link that. Oh, I will link that in the description. Check that out and let me know if you agree or disagree with me. I will say, of course, he's not very popular. He's somewhat popular. He won a calling and I think maybe a battle hardened as well. So people are definitely playing him. But he's not as talked about as Aurora or Enigma. So I'll still consider him the dark horse pick. I think he will win. Well, I'd like to say he'll win the calling because that's what I'm playing. But I think he'll win one of the events. I don't think he'll win both. And I definitely think he will top eight. I would be really surprised if no Florian's top eight at either event. I think Enigma will win. I think Enigma will win the Pro Tour, and I'll say Florian will win the Calling. I think that will of all three of these heroes. I think all five of these heroes. I think will top eight. The only one I would consider possibly not top eighting is maybe Zen does not top eight because he's really not seeing a lot of play. I think most uh, pro players and players that are really trying to win the event have moved away from Zen. So I could see Zen not making top eight, but I think the rest of these will all top eight. And I'll say Enigma wins PT, and I'll say Florian wins the calling. Those are the predictions. I'll talk about any other heroes that I think will top eight as I add them, because of course the top eight's not going to be just these four heroes. Likely, I don't think it'll be that. I think the meta's diverse enough that you'll see even as diverse as like seven or six or seven different heroes in the top eight, probably. I don't know if it's diverse enough to have like eight unique heroes, but I think you'll see like six unique heroes in the top eight, which is still pretty unique and diverse meta. I don't think anything else is an S tier. I think most people will even disagree that Florian is. Probably most people would put him in A tier, but I'll put him in the Dark Horse S tier for now. The other A tier heroes, Slippy has picked up a lot of traction. I think he's a good assassin. I think he has the aggressive potential that the other assassins lack. Just the consistent go again on the hero ability is really strong. it doesn't really buff the other assassins that much when you play into them. And it's just, I mean, there's a reason he starts at 38 life. It's because the hero ability is just that good. You just, it's kind of Ira style. You just get the thing every turn, and it's just good value. Um, Other assassins, Mario, I don't know, C tier. I mean, that's kind of rude. He's probably B tier. He's not that much worse. This Arachne Huntsman is D tier. Anything else that's good? I think those are most of the good decks. I think Prism and Dash IO are well positioned enough. I don't know if they're A tier, but I think I'll stick them in A tier. Dash IO I think is favored into other aggro decks, which has a lot going for it. It's also favored into Enigma, probably, unless they try to fatigue you, and then you really need to know how to play around that. I think Dash IO is mostly worried about new. I think it gets usually destroyed by new. So if you can dodge the news, I think you're in a pretty good spot as Dash IO. Prism does Prism things. She's really broken a lot of the times, and then sometimes she slips and falls, and you look at your life and you realize you started at 8 less than them, and you just die really fast. So I don't think Prism has any particularly like super good or super bad matchups. I think she's probably pretty unfavored into Enigma is the main issue, but otherwise she's fine into the rest of the field. She just yeah doesn't really have the consistency I guess that she would need right now. She's strong though. She's definitely strong. I think these heroes. I don't know about Slippy, but he probably will. I think these three heroes will also top 8. I definitely expect a Slippy and a Dash IO. I'm not sure if a Prism will top 8, but I do think we'll have. I kind of have 16 slots to play with, right? Because I'm saying they'll top 8 either the Pro Tour or the Calling. So I guess I'll say all of these will top 8, but I definitely think Dash IO and Slippy will. That's the S and A tier. I'm just gonna quickly run through the rest. I don't want to make this a super long video. I already did a Pro Tour tier list. This is just kind of an update because I do think the meta has shifted a lot in the week or two since I've done that one. Verdance, still not great. Syndra, I don't know, C or low B tier is fine. Azalea, fine. Betsy, Bravo, not good. Dash, I think you could play the Fatigue. This might be a dark horse, is like Pistol Dash, could be fine right now. Dorinthia, still not great. Phi, no. Fang, I think he's okay. He's like a value deck that's just not as good as the other ones. I'll disrespect him a little bit. These heroes are all not great. I think Kano is possible to do something good. These heroes are all bad. Acilio's fine. Riptide's fine. Zuri's fine. Finset has some potential. These heroes are all bad. KO's fine. That's where I would slam everything. You can see I went pretty fast, so maybe that's not the most 100% accurate, but I also don't think the heroes in B, C, D tier are super relevant. Especially C and D tier, I don't expect to like any of these heroes to really top 8. Well, maybe like I could move some up because I think they would top 8. Because I think any of these heroes could top 8. I guess the C tier heroes could kind of top 8. But the B tier is mostly like the counter meta. So it's like kind of niche decks that try to prey on something up here. Like, for example, Kano can kind of blow up the slower decks like New and Florian. Pistol Dash can also kind of beat the slower decks and sometimes fatigue some of the aggro decks. Jarl's here to beat the aggro decks. Syndra's here because it destroys Enigma. Stuff like that. They're kind of like counter meta decks with a decent amount of power, but not as consistent or powerful as the S or A tier decks. D tier is like don't play tier. And C tier probably can do something every once in a while. I don't expect any of these heroes to top 8 in C or D tier. How many heroes is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I guess technically with 16, every one of these could top 8. But I don't think that'll happen. Like I said, I think Enigma will win the PT. I think Florian will win the Calling. And then I already talked about who I think is going to top 8. Down here, I think we'll see a Kano top 8. And I think maybe we'll see a Vincent top 8 as well. I don't know if I expect anyone else below S or A tier to top 8, but I think we'll definitely see a Kano at least. Well, that is the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. I know I already put out a PT tier list, but I wanted to update this. Also, kind of wanted to plug my Florian deck tech that I'm going to come out with because I do really think he's quite strong. So check that video out next. Remember to like, subscribe, comment. I'll see you next time.